Your meeting special session, August 28th for the tax rate presentation. All board members are present. Is there a motion to accept the agenda?
So. Second.
We have a motion. Motion carries, and we'll turn it over to Dr. Slavely for the presentation.
We're sitting way back in the back.
He's hoping not to be called up.
Chime in if you want to, Mr. We took kind of the first presentation that I gave to you all 2 meetings ago, and then the presentation that Mr. Rupert presented to you the other night. And of course, you received a little bit more documentation on your front porches this week about the history of the recallable nickels and the building fund and bonding capacity. So just a timeline for you all. We received our tax reports from KDE on July 29th. We gave you that initial information on the 11th. And then we ran the ad in the State Journal on August 16th and August 20th that is required if you are considering anything above the 4%, which includes a recallable nickel. Not meaning you have to make that decision by any means, but just in case the board did decide to make that decision, it was just safe to run that ad. It has to be run twice within a 2-week period, and then we have to have the hearing on either day 7, 8, or 9. Today is day 8, I think, after the 20th. And the next step is to set the tax rate by September 12th would be, you only have 45 days from July 29th to set the tax rate. And by my calculations, that's September 12th.
I'm sorry, Gemma. Is that Jack? Yeah. What is the deadline for the best date for getting it on the tax bills? Do they have a
as soon as possible, if we decided to take the nickel, as soon as possible, because from the time you set the nickel, there's 45 days to recall it. So we have to wait at least 45 days to see if enough people petition it for it to be on the ballot in November for recall. Historically, that hasn't happened. The last time we set a nickel, there were no petitions. So as soon as possible, just so we can ensure that come October, November, when those tax bills go out, that nickel is included on that tax bill, if that's what the board decides to do.
Okay, so that would put it at least the middle of October before it's finalized with the 45-day recall period.
Mr. Rupert went over these Monday evening with you all, the types of taxes. So under general property, residents and local business, real estate and tangible, and they are collected through the city. And if you recall from this, past meetings, orders of the treasurer, we pay the city the state mandated minimum of 1.5% to collect for us, and it was a little more than $46,000 this year. Franchise taxes includes public service companies, real estate and tangible, and is collected through the city also. And then our motor vehicle is collected through the county clerk in the state. This slide shows you the options that were given to us from KDE. So our current tax rate is 107.5. And because our PDA did quite a bit of reassessment, he's nowhere close to being done. It's on another slide, but I can tell you that he looked at over 500 properties of about how many total, Mr. Rickard?
2,300.
2,300 properties. He looked at over 500 and reassessed 235. That's all right.
I believe so, yeah.
And I've asked about a timeline for reassessing the rest, and we don't really have a timeline because there's so many that still need to be reassessed. So, based on his reassessment, we could take the compensating rate, which would net us the exact same revenue from the previous year. And the tax rate would be 93.6 cents for every $100 of value. A 4% increase would be 97.3, which is a decrease to the taxpayer, but a 4% increase in revenue for us. And motor vehicle would be 47.4. That one's given to us. It hasn't changed in several years. And the figures above, the real estate revenue in that chart, the personal property revenue, are assuming 100% collection rate. Now on other slides, you have a 97% collection rate, but stop me if you have any questions. The two options here on this one with the 97.3, which is the 4%, and then the 102.9, which is the 4% plus the recallable nickel. You can see that with the 97.3, our building fund revenue would be $614,234. If we take the extra nickel tax, that's $818,978. And this is without equalization. So this doesn't include state equalization. So that revenue goes up even more with equalization. And then general fund with the 97.3 is 3.1 million. And about the same under 102.9. I think we lose about $8,000 because we're putting more in the building fund. The figures above are assuming a 97% collection rate, and this does not include the nickel equalization. This is one of Mr. Rupert's charts from the other night, and this is what our total collections have been in fiscal year 23, 24, and 25, with projections for both tax rates for fiscal year 26. So you can see that at the 97.3, our total collection, that's franchise, that's real property, that's motor vehicle, that's everything. Our total 100% collection would be about 3.8 million at 100%. At the 4% with the nickel would be over 4 million. And then he has those 97% out there as well. And this page just shows you with certain home values, what the 93.6 compensating rate would cost a homeowner, the 97.3, which is the 4% increase in revenue, and the 102.9, is the 4% increase in revenue plus the proposed nickel. And then the next column is what the current tax rate is. So you can see it's a decrease on all of those home values and what it looks like on the year and on the month. And this is a slide that says 235 of 2,168 properties have been updated in 2025, and he still has more to do. This slide is bonding capacity at 97.3, which is the 4% increase in revenue. Our bonding capacity would be approximately $14.275 million. At 102.9, it would be 17.675 million without the nickel equalization. And with the equalization, it would be over $20 million. And I sent some documents to you that had historical building fund, historical bonding capacity, and then I followed up with an email that showed you what the bonding capacity for the district was prior to the gym renovation and after the gym renovation. It was about a $5 million difference, and that takes some time to build back up before you can do another project. Some items to consider: tax collection. Again, we pay the city of Frankfurt at 1.5% to collect for us. It's approximately $45,000. Tax exempt property. This issue speaks for itself. Working on some things in that realm. You have a facilities list that's not necessarily prioritized yet, but it has some needs that are attached to our district facilities plans and some that are not, and some things that we want to do that may not be listed on our DFP, but we want and need to do those things. And then, of course, the historical nickel revenues that you received. I think you received those on Tuesday, and historical bonding capacity due to the nickel taxes, which you received on Tuesday as well. I think that's my last.
Since this is just a public hearing for the tax presentation and no one has shown up or requested to address us, I will recommend that we go into recess just for 10 minutes or so, make sure no one shows flying through the door at the last minute. So is there a motion about that?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll recess about 10 minutes. Make We're now back in public session for the purpose of adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries and we are adjourned.